Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, sins and replicants, and welcome to Gustav Making Stuff, where today we are going to tackle the new gun from Blade Runner. Yes, also ask me some questions, because I'm gonna have a Christmas special soon. But now, let's get going. Now I'm going to draw these lines here on the pistol so it will look like the pistol, and also having to straighten it out with a roller so it will be good instead of printing it out and using your printer more than one time that you need to. Anyway, now you see, there it goes, and now it's adapted to my hand size. And now I'm gonna put this plastic material here, which is basically very thick foam board, but is a little bit more denser. It's used for making road signs and playgrounds and stuff like that. But we have a tube here, and in the end, you see this, I will put these things on these packing strips, but later with that. Anyway, this is a part that looks very much like the part on the actual gun, and it's from an old camera. But usually I would use another thicker plastic tube and also have some lids on it. But anyway, I had this part, so why not use it? So now I see I've cut out a little bit of so it will be shaped in the back there where the camera part is. So it will line up. And now we're going to drill and put a bolt inside it. So it will be very, very, very nice indeed. Because things that holds up when you hold them are very fantastic. There you go, you see. Fantastic, right? And now we're gonna put 7 of this, so it has to be the same length on it. So that's why it's good to make it a little bit longer than you actually need to, because you don't really need how things will turn out. The easiest is cut things away and add things to it. Anyway, so now we have the comfort grip here of comfort, because comfort is good for your hand. I heard it somewhere. Anyway, so now you see I have this very dense styrofoam thing going on here, and that thing will absolutely be the best choice for this very cheap version of the, because this is not master building anyway. It's just a very fun way to make a little easy pistol here. Now you see we're down there, and now we're going to sandwich the whole thing. It's about 2 centimeters thick, this thing, so it will be like 4 centimeters. Now with very steady hand, doing very, very long cuts here to cut these things away with a sharp knife. And I'm also going to do a little trench there for the fingers to be comfortably holding around the gun when you are shooting things in the future. So more of, you see a little bit of forming there with the knife until we are going to start actually cutting with the, not cutting, what am I saying? Sanding with the sandpaper. See, there we go. And this will this is like 100 sandpaper, so it will be very nice. Also, if you're gonna heat this up later, which I forgot to film, but I will do that, it will seal the cells, and it will be very nice indeed. Now you see it's very comfortable, even though they have this only 2 finger things going on there, but it actually is comfortable. Now I'm cutting out the upper profile here of the upper receiver, or whatever it's called in gun terms, the upper part of the back of the gun. You see, like that. And I kind of cocked up a little bit because there's a hole there and I have to cover that up, so I had this lid in the same fitting size inside it without squeeze in. But do this before I did it, because I cannot cock up. Now we will take more of this material here and shape the things that is sitting on top of the gun here, because we are going to working from top to bottom of this particular gun. So now you see we have cut out the little back part, and it's actually are rounded and sloping backwards in there, so make sure to make that properly, and also sand this so it doesn't look like you have cut this out of stone. There we go, this little part here that will be on the top there, like that it will sit. You can also do this in EVA for foam floor mats if you really want to. Now you see this is side part here, which I'm going to draw a line so I know it, and also put in the little bit of spring there in the middle, or whatever it is that probably holds up some part. It's bullshit science on steel gun, so whatever. Now you see we are going to glue the sides there, And now we are going to do the back hammer holding thing. I think it is, because I don't really know what that part is doing, but it looks cool. So the cool part on the back of the gun that have future purpose. Anyway, so now you see you're just going to cut that out to it's going to be wrapped itself around like that. And now we're going to draw out the little shape of this, because it isn't really straight. Now, see, I am cutting a rounded shape there. And now we're cutting into the side trench of it, and also do it not entirely, because we're going to cut a little bit of strip off it like that and just put it on there, so you'll have a much nicer surface to it. It is completely optional to do this, because it depends on how good you are at cutting this material or working with it, because it's a very popular material at the moment as this is being filmed. If you watch this 20 years, that was the thing we did back then, or which is now, whatever. Anyway, time traveling by cutting to this part here that we have just cut out, and also we're gonna file it down and bend it down onto the gun, because it's basically gonna hold the trigger. It's a little bit difficult to do, but you basically you bend it and then you glue it together and it will hold its shape like that. Now, you see, I have done a little bit of cock up there, so I have to lower this whole thing and actually extend a little bit of hammer thing back there. And now we're making some holes into this detailed part here by taking a file and pushing it and twisting at the same time. Now, the trigger guard, which we will do a little bit longer on the back there, so it will actually wrap up and go back to the back there, because it's gonna be around the handle, so about a few centimeters will be lost there, and also carved out in the front there. So now you see we will have the finger there, so we can push the trigger when we will fire. And there's the trigger, which is also made out of formats, but I just glued it in place there. Now we will put this onto the packing things, whatever they're called, because it looks kind of like it. It has a very interesting texture, and I think the whole front of the gun is the barrel of the gun has been 3D printed, because it's a very weird part, or some kind of filter thing going on. Anyway, so now we're just gonna cut that thing out with a little saw here. I have this special tool, which is just a handle that you put the blade on. It is very, very good for free-handedly cutting things. You see, there we go. Also, I also mentioned that I do not have a 3D printer at my disposal, so that's why I'm making this totally manual, because many prop makers are 3D printing things now these days, but I don't have it. Now, this part has to be a little bit wider and a little bit longer, because you have to make room for errors. But you see, I have shaped it in the same round shape as the barrel it is attached to, like that, you see. So now, to a little bit of a complicated part here. This is what it looks like. And now, for easing it up to myself, I actually filled in all the things with blue that is not going to be cut away. And now I'm using this scalpel here to just cut off all the little pieces there will go away. It's a little bit tricky, but it works. But you see, that's the thing. And now it looks like that, which is being finished. And now I'm going to do the things on top of the gun, which kind of looks like a rail mount, but it isn't really a rail mount, so it's some kind of it. Maybe this world's Blade Runner world version of rail mounts. I don't know. There we go. I also have to point out, I haven't seen the movie yet, because it was screened at some theaters when I was not at home. And due to I live so incredibly remote away, I missed them. Because they are screened like once a week. Or one time only. There we go. Now I'm doing these little details there on the side of the battle there. Just made a little craft from stuff there. This is a part that looks almost like the barrel itself, and it's a plumbing part for copper plumbing part things. I think this is a kind of a attachment thing, but it has some of them, so why not use them? And now we have this very funky colored gun here. It's going to be colored with exciting black color, because that is a very good thing to work from. So I'm using this water-based lacquer color, which I have at my disposal because it's very good. And also if you used spray paint on this, it will not work. Now I tried to do the textured thing on the handle there, which didn't work out at all, so it's just gonna be grey instead. So now we just very dry brush the gun very, very lightly with the grey paint. Here it's very dark grey. Now it looks like that. And now we're gonna go over it and do a little bit of a metal distressing here on the gun, very, very subtly, because it is very, very subtle things. Because if you overdo it, it will look overdone, and it will not look like a proper gun anyway. Now, I do thought that this was going to not turn out this good, because it looks kind of ridiculous with all the funky colors. But I'm pretty happy with it. It looks very good next to my original Blade Runner pistol I made a few weeks ago. Or maybe a few months ago. Whatever, whenever I made it. They are looking nice together now.